Okay. What is going on? There we go. Do-do. Doom. No day, welcome in. How are you today? I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful week. I wonder how about you? I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Got all my big projects done this month. Well, projects around the house. Got the house projects done. We got some more commissions and stuff to get taken care of. Oops. I'm drawing on the wrong layer. Dang it. Well, let's fix this real quick. Let's lock this so I can't draw on it anymore. That would probably be the smart thing to do. I think that would be smart. I'm gonna move the microphone over here. Everything's a little offset. I don't know what's going on. So many people in jiu-jitsu practice. That's cool. It's always fun to be winning those fights. I don't know if I ever won many sparring fights. I didn't do very much sparring when I did Kenpo. I was a little too young for the adult class, but then most of the other people around me were much younger, so I just didn't spar. And the one time I did do it, it didn't feel fair, and then one of the black belts kicked the shit out of me. It was just like, not fun. Not fun. Might go back to martial arts one of these days. Especially with the kiddo. I think we'll probably enroll him in some martial arts. So I think they're good. It's a good form of exercise. It's a good form of discipline. It can take you a lot of different places. Elliot, welcome in. How are you today? I can demolish the beginners now, roll with the intermediate, but the advanced people really just give me every single time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the one time I switched up to the adult classes, it was not fun. Getting thrown around the room. Four. I'm just going to jump into it today. A Luxodon Way of the Four Elements monk with patterns painted on the skin. That's interesting. Luxodon monks are fun. They're just fun characters to draw. I like the proportionality of Loxodons because they're not kind of bulkier and Loxodon fish people? No, Loxodons are elephants. Yeah. You're thinking of Lokatha. Lokatha are fish people. You should go watch my video on Loxodons. I guess I need more views. I'm gonna start over here. Let's try this again. A little less brush, so I get a little more detail in here. My proportionality is all off, so I'm gonna start with the elephant skull. They have really tiny eyes, which is also just like comparatively to their body, they have very tiny eyes. How many species do we have today? I think we have 8 left. Well, 7 now. It's not too many. See how many we get through. Boy is asleep right now, but he's just gotten over being sick, so he's kind of like full of energy and just wants to run everywhere. So we'll see how long he lasts before he's up and about and harassing me. Might be a short stream today, I don't know, but we'll get through as many as we can. Yesterday he was pretty chill after he woke up. Chances aren't that bad. Huh. Last week I think we had like 30 suggestions. That was crazy. I want to put like a hand. Then again, maybe we should put like a flame. That would be kind of cool. Let's do that. It's supposed to just be patterning, so let's we'll think about that. We'll think about it. No, it should be this way. Yeah. I feel like the elephant's trunk on a Loxodon should go like almost down to its feet. So maybe we should just make these guys really stocky. I don't want to give him boots, though. Oh, but baggy pants. We could give him baggy pants. I do love me some baggy pants. Jude, welcome in.
Hello. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late.
Yeah, that's right. I started like an hour late, so it's fine.
What?
I need to turn chorus's icon off. There we go. Gonna draw today?
Yeah.
Let me, oops. Let me give you some space here. Shrink rugby down as well. It's Friday. You know what that means.
Excuse me.
Game check-in. How's your game going?
Oh, I didn't know we were doing this.
I don't know. It's brand new.
Yep. I didn't touch it this week.
That's fine. I tried to start adding the feather character, and I thought I was going to buzz through that, and then it turned out to take way longer than I had expected. And now I'm revamping the shooting mechanic. So,
Oh,
we'll
cool.
see how that works.
I've had. I think there's like a pollen bloom going
Yeah. Oh my.
in my area.
Bad.
Yeah. My nose is fine, but I've got a cough, and like, I wasn't sure what it was from. I'm pretty sure now it's allergies. So if something sneaks up on me and I cough into the mic, I apologize, everybody. I'm not trying to give you PTSD from COVID flashbacks.
I was really sick this week, last week, and then we cleaned and put in the crawl space vapor barrier. And so basically the whole day I was like coughing and my nose was stuffy and my sinuses hurt, but I had a mask on the entire day and just like, and so then since then I've had a cough and I'm like, did I give myself pneumonia or something? But I think it's allergies. I think my allergies just doubled down on me.
Yeah.
So I took some nasal spray yesterday and I'm feeling a lot better. I haven't been coughing as much. So hopefully that's just finally over the hump there, and the boy's feeling better too, so I think we're all on the mend.
That's good. What's wrong with my tablet?
Snotty sick babies are not fun.
No. No, they are not. Especially if they've been healthy for most of their lives and, like,
Yep.
basically have no context for it.
Yeah, there were definitely some days when I could tell, like, his throat hurt, but he just didn't understand. He's like, I don't know, something's weird. He kept, like, sticking his hand in his mouth. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
My tonsils itch, father.
There's something in my throat. I was with, a few years back, one of my friends and their first kid. We were hanging out, and he was just like, he was inconsolable and pissed off and angry. And I had like talked to him like, okay, so what's going on? Like, tell me what's happening. What's going on? And I discovered that like that was the first time he'd ever really had to like vocalize that his throat hurt. And I like worked him through that, and it was this weird moment of like, that's super weird, because he just didn't get he just refused to drink or eat anything, and we were really worried about him, and I just talked it through it, and I'm like, yeah, ouchie, right? Like, it doesn't feel good. He's like, yeah. I'm like here or here or here, and he's like, yeah, right here. And then he was just like, holy crap, yeah, that's what it is. I was like, oh, this is super weird. So my kid is not that competent yet, so we haven't gotten there. He's just, I feel bad. I feel bad, and I'm gonna make you feel bad. I had a moment yesterday where he climbed up onto my desk, onto the chair, and was slapping the keyboard. And there's music playing on my computer, and so it paused the music, and he stopped, and he's like, "What happened?" And then he discovered that, oh, I can push this to make the music go. And so I yelled at him, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he looked at me and he knew he was in trouble because he's not supposed to be standing up on my desk.
Yep.
And then he looked at me and he thought about it for a second, and then he just turned around and pushed the play button again. And I was like, you little shit. So we're now in the smart enough to be disobedient phase.
But not smart enough to articulate what they're doing phase.
Yeah.
Fun.
It is
An
really funny
important
when
milestone.
I give him something that like I know he can do. Like, hey, go get me the blue ball. And he'll stop and like you can just see the gears in his head going, I know what all of those words mean.
Yep.
How do I do that? That's really fun. Block Prime, welcome in.
I'm gonna be right back. My tablet's not connecting correctly. I'm gonna restart my computer, see if that fixes things.
Sure. Rye, welcome in. Oh. Druid said he'd be right back. Loxodon are hard to draw because they're weird giant things, but they are fun to draw. How are you doing today, Bri? How are you doing, Block Prime? Starting to plot and scheme, yeah.
All right, I think that.
Pretty good. Just finished college for the year. Got a few months off now. Nice. It's definitely weird. I've been out of college for a while now, and like once you start working like a job, summer just loses all of its functionality.
Yeah, loses all meaning.
And so I worked all through college, and it was nice having those like couple months off of school. But I miss having the actual like I get 3 months off to do nothing. Like that's something that I think you miss. So enjoy it while you have it. Right, thank you for the membership. Would you like anything sketched today for the membership? Or I can do some push-ups. I guess I was doing super chats for the push-ups, so maybe I should do that. What do we say?
Sure, I'll do push-ups with you.
I said 100 pounds per dollar. I think is the memberships $2 or $1.99? I don't remember what they are now. Quick, let's do some math. $2. Okay. 200 pounds. Let's do it. How much is a push-up comparatively weight-wise? Distributed across the lever.
I think it translates to about a quarter of your body weight. I could be totally wrong on that. I might just be pulling that out of my ass.
Are you lifting doing a push-up? 70% of your weight. Okay.
Ah.
So if I were...
I was completely wrong. I'm gonna do 20 push-ups regardless.
times 0.6. 129. So for, let's see, Bri just did 4. So that's 400 pounds divided by 120 something. Yeah, I'll do 10. Let's just do 10. That'll be the easiest way to do it. Oh, here we go. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Blech. My push-up game is weak. My push-up game is weak. Oh, I think my collarbones hurt. That's weird. That's
Might need to revisit form, or
I think,
stretch your shoulders more.
yeah, maybe I was hunching too much. I did look into Daggerheart, built a mixed Ancestry Giant and Clank Guardian, and improved melee range. I basically built K2 from Rogue One. Nice.
Nice.
K2's good.
You went really quiet on me, Rook.
Could be because I was doing push-ups.
There you go. That's better. I've been watching Critical Role's Daggerheart mini campaign, which, Rook, you know, because you and Jump Rope jumped in at the end of my watch party last night. But I'm enjoying watching them play it.
Yeah, I have some. There's some pieces of the system that I still don't quite get, so I'm gonna have to reread it and watch it. I think I'm gonna have to watch that thing.
There's a lot of stuff about it that I really like. There's also a lot of stuff about it that makes me go, I can't trust any, like, there are tables I've played at that I couldn't trust them not to exploit that.
Right. And I do think that is something that I don't want to say I dislike about Matt's style, because I don't hate it. I don't dislike. I love Matt Mercer's DMing style, but a lot of the stuff he does only works because of the players he's with.
Yep.
If that makes sense. So yeah, I can definitely see, like, there's a lot less. I just talked about this last week with you, like removing metagaming from the game as a means to promote teamwork. Which, when I started DMing, like, I'm fine with most of the most metagaming that exists. I don't care if people know what's going to happen. I don't care if people knows the monsters they're fighting, because I wanted to just play around with it and have fun. But I can only do that because I implicitly trust the people that I'm playing with, because I know them for so long and played with them. I know their style.
Totally.
So, yeah. So I don't want to say it's like I don't trust people to not do things, but I think the game goes better when metagaming is removed, because it forces people to RP more, and that's what we're lacking in our group. So
yeah.
So it's less
certainly
of a trust
not what
thing and
Matt's
more of
lacking
just like
at
a
his table.
What's that?
Certainly, that is not what Matt is lacking at his table.
Exactly. Yeah, and so they don't really have those issues, because they're all professional actors, right? Like they're there to make a program versus there to really like enjoy the game, which I think is a little different.
Yeah. They are locked into the communal storytelling aspect of it.
And until you have a group that is like that, I think it can be a little. You can add some complexity to the game. They may or may not need to be there. Like, some of the best games I've played are with people that are very comfortable DMing.
Yep.
And those are always really fun, but they're few and far between when you get a whole table of DMs playing.
Yeah. I've wished that what's Brennan Lee Mulligan's platform? I've forgotten.
Dropout?
Yeah. I've wished Dropout would do that, where Dropout would get like a not well known DM and have them GM for like all of the big GM names: Brennan, Matt, Abria. etc.
Something I'd like
Nikki
to
from
do.
Legends of Evangelist. I'd love to see her in a.
Yeah, that could be really fun. Something I'd like to do, it was with our group specifically, is really like let Corvus DM a few more times and let Jump Rope DM, because I think people get. They're definitely like Jump Rope had a hard time the first time she DM'd,
Yep.
and I think part of that was me, right? Like I didn't make it
Yeah.
easy for her. So I want to give her another opportunity to really kind of feel that out. And like Corvus had some issues with his balancing of the characters, which I think is fine. Like I didn't have
Yeah,
an issue
totally.
with it.
It's still like his one shot still worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
And it probably would have worked out better if I had messaged him and been like, you've misremembered the mechanic we worked out for the storm. Like I probably should have, since I helped him develop that, I should have been like, where I thought that this was what we had planned and it's not, the way you're doing it is not really working out for the table. Can I help you fix that?
Yeah, and I don't think Corvus is like turned off to the idea of doing that anymore, right? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it's a matter of like the perception you have of DMing and the perception of how your players go is hard to judge. And like I've had so many days of just like, wow, that went shitty. That just went shitty. And like I'm a bad DM. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's part of it. It's part of the process, right?
Yeah.
It's performative. You're not gonna feel like you're on top of it all the time.
We all experience that.
Jump Rope DM, please record that. It could be fun. She had a really fun story, but she struggled with basically balancing NPC information, and so we as the party got really confused, and then the chaos gremlins in us kind of overtook it, and she's like, I don't want to do that again. And it's like, fair enough. Yeah. But I think she could do it now. Because that was a long time ago.
I'd like to give Dagon more GMing opportunities as well. I've played in a couple of things he's tried to GM. He has a hard time with 5th edition, I think. He's really into like eldritch horror and gothic fantasy and stuff. So like I don't think he would probably really want to GM D&D or Pathfinder. I might be able to talk him into Pathfinder, but yeah, I'd like to give him more opportunities. He does a really good job with Call of Cthulhu.
We talked a little bit about that last night, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind talking about it more because like I am still very much of the mind that anything can be horror based, and I think the real component of making a horror game is the theming and the collectionness of it, like what you're bringing to the table for the horror. And unfortunately, like what you guys were talking about is like once your characters become too overpowered, you lose that horror element. But like the thing about Dark Souls is not that you die a lot, it's that the game is fucking creepy. Right? And so if you're focusing on the combat, then maybe dying a lot is kind of the like being able to die over and over again can be the whole part of the horror element.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you're going to suffer over and over again, and that nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see their face getting melted off by the lickers in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But I still think those games have a very creepy, scary vibe, even when you have like you're doing your second or third playthrough with overpowered guns, right?
Yeah.
So
and yeah, largely I agree. I just think sometimes mechanics of a system can undermine
sure
that.
something that one of our friends, I was talking a little bit about this night that I can expand on now. Hold on a second. I love Advantress more than Spotlight more. Honestly, I think Matthew Lillard just helped, but seeing theme. Wow, I can't read this. I love Advantress to be more in the spotlight more honestly. I'd love Advantress. Okay, you want to see Advantress more in the spotlight. Got it. Matthew Lillard helped, but seeing them on other games would be great. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just seeing people interact with other people on different styles and different gameplays is always great, and I love it.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of that specifically, I don't know if anybody knows this, but Narrative Declaration, which is the Pathfinder main, they do Pathfinder 2 games mostly,
I
and
don't know
Starfinder,
at all.
because two of the people on there are Paizo developers.
Cool.
Joe Cat is playing on their brand new campaign that I think it only has 1 or 2 episodes out. It's Rust
That's awesome.
something. Yeah.
I
Looks
really
really funny.
liked, I like listening to the McElroys.
Yeah.
And every year, what they would do is during their like subathon thing that they would host, they would switch up and play one shots with other D&D podcasters, and those were
Yeah.
always really great. I really loved those.
Yeah.
Those are
And it like I also enjoy how that like started with Griffin like taking a step back and getting to play while one of the other brothers or Clint
Yeah.
GM'd. Yeah,
Hitchcock
all of that
is
was good.
saying horror about how long you can keep the mystery behind closed doors. Exactly, yeah. So one of my favorite horror campaigns that we ran was just like a little snippet during a whole campaign where we had to go down into this big dungeon, and the guy that was DMing for me, who is awesome, he pops in the chat every now and again. Taught me a lot about DMing. Would basically just like kept giving us teases of what the boss monster we were going to fight could do to us. Like we would see people like flayed on the walls, or we'd hear people screaming in the distance, and it was terrifying. It was awful because and it was had nothing to do with any of the mechanics of the fights or the traps we were running into. It was all ambience, and these just bouncing off the walls, trying to figure out what the hell was going on was what made it a horror story. And then when we actually fought the creature, like we kind of like, okay, we need to be really careful because we've seen what kind of damage this thing can do. And it wasn't a terribly hard fight, but it was scary, and we got hurt in weird ways. Nothing is
In
so
that
frightening.
regard, it's really about like controlling the meta narrative,
Yeah.
like showing your players more of what's happening. I think that for anybody who doesn't know, last night we were talking about my friend Dagon's Mothboy's horror, like 5e horror setting specifically. He had kickstarted a Steinhardt's thing, which was it was a third-party made module that was set in a it was a high fantasy setting. It was based very heavily off of like Bloodborne, and I had played through another campaign in that setting with my friend Dagon as the GM, and it had worked out pretty well. We played that live with a table, but then we wanted to do another one of the campaigns in the module. And it had it turned out to be pretty poorly balanced, and we ended up having a pretty tough time with it.
Yeah.
So like specifically what happened is the normal like mob creatures that we dealt with turned out to be really difficult to deal with, and the boss monster, which was supposed to be super creepy and hard and was supposed to get away, like we burned through the entirety of his hit points in 6 player turns, right? So
Yeah, it was one
so
round,
the
essentially.
boss literally got a single turn off and was not able to escape, right? Without the GM jumping in and being like, okay, so like I have to he literally had to jump in and say, okay, so he's beaten, and then he had to like meta go in and say, you're not actually supposed to
Sure.
kill him, and just the
So I
whole
didn't-
thing kind of fell apart.
I didn't want to like trash on Dagon last
Yeah,
night
no.
when he's talking about that, because like those are things that a DM can control, right?
Yeah.
If you guys get to the boss and your team basically bodies it the first round, double its hit points, right? It's just like unless it was really good, right? You need to be judging the players' interaction
Yeah.
with that, because if it feels like if the party's just like, yeah, we are eating this guy, right? Like, great, let him do that, let him do it, and let him win, and then you have to adjust the story later, right? So now all
Yeah.
of a sudden, instead of that boss coming back, it's the creature that created that, or there's another one, and this one seems bigger, right? Like you can always change the narrative of the story in a way that makes sense and feels right for your players. But sometimes it's also like, if this fight isn't going to feel good because you're just beating the shit out of it on the fly, which is hard, like that's something you have to learn.
Yeah, yeah.
Like on the fly, you
Especially
have to be
for
like,
for a
okay,
new GM.
yeah, I want this fight to last at least one more round. Like this boss has to get off this special attack, and obviously it has not been balanced well.
Yep.
So now I have to do that on the fly. And sometimes it's okay to be like, okay, hold on one second, I need to figure out this next round. Everyone take a break. Because you guys are doing way more damage than I thought you would, so I need to make sure I'm doing this right. Right?
Yeah.
And that's really hard for people, I think, especially starting out as a DM, to kind of give up that control and be like, pause, right? Like, hold on a minute, I need to figure this out. Nothing so frightening as to what's behind a closed door. Yeah, I agree with that, Brian. I assume this is a Hitchcock quote. A bug 10 feet tall and horrible. The audience thinks about it. 10-foot tall bug is afraid it might be 100 feet tall. Yeah. There was a game that faked permadeath. They advertised it as gamers were terrified. Yeah, like hardcore runs are super fun in my mind, but like it's a different type of play, right?
Yeah, yeah. They're really only super fun if everybody knows that's what the style of game we're playing is.
Because the other part about like permadeath in a D&D campaign is it's like it makes people not invest in their characters.
Yeah, yeah.
And so all of a sudden people just become numbers, and it's like, cool, okay, if this guy dies, I have to make somebody new, right? Great. So they disconnect, which I'm not a big fan of. Versus something like, oh, cool, yeah, no, you died, and now you're possessed by an evil demon. It's just like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, something strange happened. Now you have glowy arms. We're gonna have to see what goes on there, right? Like you can always take the narrative from where it's at and add to the story with it. And that's kind of my issue of like, oh, the guy died, and now you guys weren't supposed to kill that boss. It's like, no, let him kill the boss, and then, did someone revive him? Like, why change the narrative based on what happens, right? So
Yeah.
you don't always have to give more hit points, but yeah, let that stuff kind of figure out. Or maybe they wanted you to kill him in Diablo style, which I hate, but like a lot of people love that shit.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha, you've released me from my mortal coil. I'm more powerful now. Boo.
Yeah, yeah.
Boo, you're stupid. Lars loves that shit. Lars loves that shit. Drives me crazy. All right. I rolled 4 again. A rogue cultist that worships cherry blossoms. Okay.
Interesting.
Don't know how to take that? Sure.
Also, Rook, can you check your mic connection? Because
Is it cutting in now?
you will cut in and out occasionally. For the most part, it's pretty stable, but every once in a while, you go quiet.
You know what? I bet it's I think I turned CRISPR back on. Let me turn that off. So it might just be Discord.
Okay.
Unless people on YouTube are also hearing me cut out.
Yeah, yeah. That would be good information, good feedback. You guys hearing the same thing I am, or is it just Discord?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn off my voice compression.
Okay.
See if that helps. I'd like a horror monster almost scene 1. It's absolutely known. Everyone in the town just knows about the monster exists and no one cares about it. It's so simple. Isn't that the movie trailer that we watched earlier? Suddenly you arrive and break into something boring and useless. Suddenly it's almost pitiful monster. Suddenly it becomes a hardcore beast. Caught off guard, now they're pissed off and ignored it. Interesting.
Bryce says he's not hearing it. It might just be me.
Maybe.
My computer is maybe having seizures.
No name also says it's normal. Okay, so yeah, it might be you, which is scary.
Okay.
Dropping to 0 hit points gives you so many narrative opportunities, both from reviving and dying perspective. Yeah, and the other thing I've done in the past is because as long as you don't narrate hit points as oh, you lop off an arm and you blah blah blah,
yeah,
really really messing someone up, you can do a lot of things like defeating a boss. Just because you get them to 0 hit points, that's their chosen spot to give up, right?
Yeah.
It's just
to get out of the fight. Yeah.
hit points because of the DM. Like everything should be based around the narrative. And so if it feels good and they beat him, like let them beat him. But like maybe they don't kill him at that moment. And then you can do like, here's the narrative information that I needed to give you. Like, oh no, wait, my master will reward you for not killing me, right? Don't like then give them a whole nother boss fight per se. I've done that before and it's made people mad. But and I've also done this before where they're like, okay, they ask you to stop because they want to talk to you, and my players are just like, nope, and they kill him, and it's like, well, okay. Yep. Like that's their choice, right? Like,
yeah.
But you as a DM have the opportunity for that kind of narrative stuff.
Totally. And in this regard, I think that the module we were playing specifically fell down because Dagon was not an experienced GM, and because it was written kind of poorly. Like it was written like they had planned out everything, and very clearly it was not.
I do have that problem
great.
with
so yeah,
some of the I don't want this to turn into me shitting on Dagon. Dagon has also given us a lot of third-party content.
Yes,
and a lot of it I feel like has not been thought through. Just because like it's there's so much to it. Like it's always like, here's the thing that lets my character do this whole big stuff. It's like there's a lot of spots here. Like if it was just, hey, I want to add this one variant to the normal warlock progression, that's fine. You know, I don't really care about that. But a lot of times it's like, well, we're going to take the warlock and we're going to add this and change this and change this, and now all of a sudden you have this like fourth or fifth derivation, yeah, from the base core concept. It's like, I don't think they play tested this. Like this is not going to balance well. And for the most part, I don't care. Right? I've let them let them play their stuff every time because it's just like, yeah, just do it. Like I don't care. But if you start doing that too much, and I could see that with a whole world, like, hey, we have a whole campaign, here's all the things for it. It can fall apart real fast. And it's just making it more complicated for the DM, which in it gets like rapid
totally
the ick.
Yeah, I think that's a fair criticism. And I believe that specifically happens because Dagon is it's because he doesn't care for the numbers as much as the concept.
Yeah.
He really likes exploring higher concepts than you usually get in the vanilla game, especially in 5e, which is extremely, as we've talked about, it's dumbed down isn't the right word, but it's super streamlined and generic, right?
Yep. And you and I have had this conversation, and I think I've given it to many people. It's the same advice, right? Like when you're starting out with something, don't make your own thing, right? Like don't complicate the rules until you understand the rules. And so I think you could very easily do a Bloodborne thing with the base book from 5e. And that's why I kind of push back a little bit when you're like, oh, 5e's not good for horror. It's like 5e can be good for horror. It's just you're not going to find the horror elements in the book, right? Like it's going to be a lot on you to make it a horror thing. And so the more you start pulling from different things and the more you make up, the harder it's going to be. And so that's why I would like find the things that are really important to you. Like I like the Bloodborne concept, but you probably need some kind of regen, right? Like you need the whatever it's what's it called? In Dark Souls it's called the hollowing, right?
Or the Estus flask.
Well, the Estus flask is a great example of that, but like of something you would add.
Bloodborne doesn't have that.
No, I'm talking about like when you die in Dark Souls, it's canon. Like you dying over and over again is fine because you're a ghoul essentially, right? Like every time you die, you lose your souls, you become more hollowed, and until you regain your soul, you retain that hollowedness. That could be a fun mechanic to add to 5e. I would leave 5e completely the same in every aspect except that if somebody dies, you either have to reclaim their souls, so that means everybody gets a revivify, like it's not hard to do, or if the whole party dies, you all reconstitute years later and have to start from the beginning where you were, right? That could be fun. and that's the only thing you have to change to the game, right? And then from there you can do whatever you want with it. I started talking about it yesterday, and I kind of backed off of it, but like, the difference between Curse of Strahd and Tomb of Annihilation is kind of vibe, right? Like, Tomb of Annihilation is meant for high level, very overpowered characters, just to kill them over and over again.
Yeah.
Right. And so I don't count that as horror. It's like gore porn. It's like that's all it is.
Yeah. As evidenced by that one trap, that is, if you enter the mouth of this thing, you insta die, no save, no nothing. You made a narrative choice, and there is no turning back.
Exactly, and it's just like that's the point. So, I do think you can do a lot with the base stuff, and like not really have to worry about it. Especially with things like changelings exist in the game, like mimics exist in the game. People like, I don't want to say, well, I guess I could say jizz their pants for the false Hydra, right? Like the false Hydra's super screwed up.
But it's also made third party, right?
It is
base monster.
Yeah, the false Hydra is it's almost more of a creepypasta, and people have statted it. But the false Hydra is essentially just, I hate it as a concept. But it's been done really well in a horror setting in many different genres. So like Doctor Who did a version of it. Crap, did the McElroy brothers do something like that? They might have. Let's see. Horror can be easy. I still like the characters from Halloween Horror Nights years ago, the storyteller. Halloween Horror Nights. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Let's look at that.
Me neither. Which is not surprising. I don't engage in horror well.
Right.
Anxiety and all that. Which is maybe why I specifically have such hang-ups on D&D as like a horror vehicle specifically. I like, it is very true of me that I tend to get wrapped up in like the stated purpose of a material.
Sure.
And have a hard time divorcing myself from that, which is a strange thing to say of a creative person such as myself, but I don't know.
I think, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But like,
I think all of the points you've made are valid.
Case in point, the skin stitcher things. They're not the skin stitchers are great, but like I think I made you guys fight the skinless creatures, right? Yeah.
The flayed skins.
Yeah, those are great. Those are in the book. Like those exist.
Well, those are in the Pathfinder book.
I think they are in the Pathfinder book.
Because I don't think they're in 5e. I always forget what they're called, but for anybody who's not aware, they're from first edition Pathfinder, and they are literally a flayed skin. And if they come across a skeleton, they can enshroud it, and it becomes a zombie.
Yeah.
Or they try to grapple and take over your characters. They're pretty fun.
They're fun. But you can do the same kind of thing with cloakers. Like, I think cloakers are beautiful horror monsters, right? Because you don't see them. They ambush your players. They're in the dark. Yeah, I think the other part of it is just like kind of what people expect from horror.
Yeah.
Because I don't consider, like, Elden Ring is eldritch horror-ish.
Yeah.
But
it still falls into like a hero's journey type of deal for me. Even though like there's no happy endings in there, you're still following like a primary protagonist, and your primary protagonist still has a great deal of control over their own autonomy and what's happening in the world around them. And like, for me, that specifically precludes my definition of what horror is. Horror to me feels like a person or a group of people that are trapped in a world that that wants to inflict harm on them, and they have little, if any, control over what's happening.
Yeah. And so, like, I think,
And I just sorry. That is specifically why I think 5e is. I'm not going to say that it can't do horror, but I think that's specifically why it's difficult to do horror in 5e, especially at high levels, is because high level D&D, in terms of like spell casting and character abilities, players end up with a lot of ability to change the situation in their favor.
I can see that. I can see that. I see what you're saying with that. Because, like, so like I said, Dark Souls is not horror to me, but
yeah, same.
Dead Space is, right? Like, in Dead Space, Dead Space is really good horror. And I think a really good example of what we were talking about last night is you have zombie games like Resident Evil, which are definitely horror. And like, you're not ever overwhelmed by stuff. Like, it's very much. I remember Resident Evil, especially the old games, being really scary because your characters, like, your controls were kind of bad. Like, that was kind of the point.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. You were always looking through like a CC camera, like I guess whatever, security camera, or coming around a blind hallway that you just had to go around the blind hallway. Those are hard to give to a player in D&D. Just period. Like, it's hard to give those kinds of terror. And then
same with the limited item mechanics, where you have like an extremely limited number of things you can carry, and you have to choose what you're going to take with you. That's also hard to do in D&D unless you specifically say, okay, you guys have 0 inventory.
Yep. And then mixing that with like things like what is the game called? Shoot. It's a zombie game, but you're a photographer and you're trapped in a mall. It's made by Capcom.
Oh, Dead Rising?
Dead Rising, yeah. Not scary.
No.
It's not a horror game. It's
no.
Massive amounts of zombies. The zombies become like impractical, and your character just like deals with them easily, right? Like, that's...
Yeah, it's almost Horde Survivor.
Yeah, it is. And it's meant to be comical. Like, it's supposed to have a weird aspect to it. So, like, those are both the same theming, but done differently, right? Like,
different execution that completely changes the way the thing feels.
That's my big thing about, like, saying, like, oh, 5e isn't meant for horror. It's like, well, I mean, I think it's just very much 5e is set up for RPG things, more like Dark Souls is, versus Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But the theming can be like, think about Resident Evil. Like, Resident Evil is really fun, and you could basically turn that into a 5e campaign. Just like, you get trapped in a building, you have to find your way out. You have a mission to do, and something happens, right? Like, that's what makes it a horror game to me, in my mind, and the rest is just kind of playing with it. I like horror but love the pointing out the stupidity of one's dumbest choices. Right, that's like classical horror movie, right? Like, that's a different formatting as well. Let's go into the creepy old church with a perpetual burning cross. Okay, we're talking about horror. What do good premise, find a good horror setting, and then the original concept. Yeah, I mean, like, Ash vs. Evil Dead, or any of the Evil Dead movies, I love them. They're not really good horror. Like, they come from the place of horror, and then they become their own thing, which I love them for it.
Yeah. Shaun of the Dead is, I think, the epitome of the example for me.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is
right.
Good. Horror setting, but it's still a comedy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make this cultist have tree branch antlers, and I'm struggling with it. I guess I
rolled a while ago. Yeah, I rolled a while ago, but didn't want to interrupt the conversation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
By the way, no, it's a choice I made. I rolled a 6 non-metal Warforged Druid Circle of Spores, so I'm basically just gonna do another one of my big old Myconids that I used to do all the time.
Nice.
I'll give him a Warforged face.
Sure. I think this kind of conversation goes back to the haunts conversation we had a little while ago.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, for me, a haunt is not a haunt is a trap. It's a type of trap, but overall, the haunt should really be a vibe of traps and character interactions, which it is. Like, it is.
Yeah.
And I think we beat that horse to death.
Yeah.
But
And
it's
it was a
same.
useful conversation for us to have, though. I think it helped me adjust what I was doing in my campaign that we're playing tomorrow, which reminds me I need to make the last map.
I can switch that over for the stream here.
Yeah, we'll do that after that.
But yeah, like, I really want. I get bummed out when people are like, "Oh, this you can't do this in 5e." It's like, you can, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I also want to point out that I never said you can't do horror in 5e. It's just not ideal.
Yeah, and so I always push back. I always push back on that.
Yeah, which is fair.
Let's get a good hood. Let's get like a neck piece here, and then a big old cowl. Cabin in the Woods is an awesome idea. It's just lampooning all the horror movies say, let's do it better here, in the way of saying we're all destroyed now. Yeah, I think my favorite part about Cabin in the Woods is the ending, right? I think the ending is very, very poetic for the concept of the movie. And I think that's also part of it, right? Like, I think going into like Call of Cthulhu or there's a handful of board games that are based off of Call of Cthulhu that you basically go in expecting your character to die, and so you're always like looking around the corner for how your character is going to end. And that, I think that's the Resident Evil aspect of it, right? It's like you go in knowing you're not going to 100% this game or beat this game without dying a few times.
Yeah, or at the very least, there's absolutely no way in hell you can escape unscathed, mentally or physically.
And something I've noticed, which maybe this is a good way to start thinking about it, especially with haunts, instead of killing a player off, removing a player during the haunt can be very powerful. Like, a good example of this is in Rise of the Rune Lords. One of the haunt triggers is the biggest, strongest player gets attacked by a ghost and is thrown out of an upper story window. The problem is that they are doing it to themselves. And so the actual haunt, the way it's dealt with mechanically, is that person who is the strongest, like you're supposed to pick the strongest person in the party, is basically trying to throw themselves out a window while hurting themselves, and the rest of the party has to react to that, right? Like, so it's less about like, oh, we have to find the haunt, we have to stop it. It's like, no, you have to stop this person from offing themselves. Like, that's how you deal with this haunt. And that's scary. That's inherently scary, because now one person doesn't get to interact with it because they're the one that's caught. That's the part of the trap. And the rest of the people have to save that character. And so it can be kind of shitty for the person that is the one trapped, or maybe they get eaten by an ooze, or they get possessed, or they get pushed in a barrel full of water and then sealed shut, right? Like, everyone has to save them. It sucks for that one person, but like, if throughout the dungeon everyone kind of has to take that turn being the victim, it kind of builds up this, like, we have to protect each other thing, and that clumps people together and makes it more horror related in my mind. I've never played Dark Souls. Isn't the irony of it you become an extremely powerful soul and are trying to return the world of the living? No. So in the first one, kind of. So there's two looks of. I'm wrong. No, you're on the right track, but the thing about Dark Souls is the world is kind of fucked regardless. So like in the very, very first one, you start becoming hollowed, like the rot or whatever they want to call it, the hollowing I think is what they call it, starts happening to you. So you leave your family behind to go try to find a cure ish, but along the way you kind of discover that like no, like you died. you're dead, you're gone, your family's been dead for hundreds of years, like you're not ever going to regain your humanity and go back. You're just preventing yourself from becoming more hollowed as the world falls apart. And so like, and then moving on into the rest of the series, almost all of them have something to do with the essentially like the world has ended or the gods have died because it's so old. And so your choice as a character is to either prolong existence by fighting off the hollowing by collecting other souls, or embracing that the world has ended and like actually ending it to like rekindle the fire, right? So that's where a lot of the like the swords and the fire and the kindling, and you either do nothing, end the universe, or relight the fire. And usually when you relight the fire, you have to become very powerful and then use your own essence to relight the world fire. But then you become the end boss, for the next person who has to continue the cycle.
Yeah, you essentially become the new sun god that keeps everything going.
That kindles
burning
the world.
burning yourself for as long as you can in order to keep the world continuing.
Yep. And that's kind of the eldritch horror aspect of it. It's not so much that like, oh, Cthulhu's gonna eat everybody. It's just like Cthulhu died. There's nothing left. Like,
yeah,
it's all gone.
You are beyond the heat death of the universe.
Yep.
And the only thing left is the immortal souls, I guess, of all of the living creatures that existed, and you can kind of jumpstart the dead universe by eating everybody else's souls and then burning them and yourself.
Yep. It's convoluted and confusing. So like,
yeah.
And each of the games, they're not continuations, they're spiritual successors. And so like the idea is that each game, you're kind of at the same point in time of the heat death of the universe, but they're either different spools of it or different iterations of it. And then like Bloodborne is actually all within a painting, so it's like a world within a world of Dark Souls. It's super confusing.
World within a world within a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Within a.
That's right. It's in someone's dream, isn't it?
Part of it.
Yeah.
You literally go inside the head of the mind of a monk, I think.
Who's like meditated for so long he's turned into a giant slug or some shit.
Something like that, yeah. And in the end, you can choose to end the dream and free everybody who's still trapped inside that isn't already completely dead or mad or worse. Or you can be the thing, or you can become the thing that extends the dream.
So it's the exact same ending of all the Dark Souls games, but slightly different, which is great, right? Like that. I mean, it's so good because they find a new way to tell the same type of story, and I really like all of the Dark Souls media because of that. Like, it's not Elden Ring. I think is my least favorite because they tried to put so much more story into it. And it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm not gonna be like, oh, Elden Ring sucks. It's just like it's my least favorite version of the storytelling because it's so opaque. But like Jump Rope loves it, loves the story, loves the characters, and it's like cool. So like that's become a lot of people's favorites because they actually wanted more story.
Elden Ring to me feels like modern King Arthur court fan fiction.
I mean, it's 100% Lord of the Ring fan fiction. Like, it's Martin. But that's Martin also as well. Martin's just like, how can I steal more from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, but also make it grittier and hornier and nastier.
Yep, that's it.
how much incest can I put in this one and get away with it?
This god who's the son-daughter mother of this other god. It's like, okay, calm it down. Weird dude.
Yep.
Still good. Still a good story. Watch the restart of the entire universe because it's also able to burn and be reborn, creating the world of flame, blah, blah, blah. Oh, is this the Iranian mythology, often depicted as a giant, beautiful creature with bright plumage and sharp claws? Is this like the origin of the phoenix?
Phoenix is Far
Close.
East.
Okay,
Simurg is Middle Eastern.
gotcha.
Probably similar, but culturally distinct.
Sorry, I was gone for a couple minutes. What are you doing? I'm working on a rogue that worships cherry blossoms. So I've given them cherry blossom horns and cherry blossom hair. Drew is working on a warforged, a non-metal warforged.
Non-metallic warforged. Druid Circle of Spores. I haven't gotten to any of the mushroom stuff yet. Because I got lost in a pose.
Good 25%. Yeah. Yeah, like that's the other thing about like media and video games and stuff is like, once again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Tell a good story in a new way, and that's totally fine. And Dark Souls does that really well. Does it really well. What's the boss weapons? I think I'm gonna go, since they're a cultist, I'm gonna give them just big old robed hands. I think it would be fun when we finish up with the next part of your quest lines.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't mind going back to some serialized content.
Okay.
And we could do that in my world or your world. Hi, kid. Hey, you did it. Yeah. You got up and you came here by yourself. Good job. Oh, and now he's sad. Now he's going to be sad right next to me. Now that you see me, I can become sad.
You left me all alone.
Hello. How are you? Good morning. Oh, my. Hello. That was really weird. He just came waddling in from the other room. She's like, hey. Hey, I'm here now. So that has not happened before. That was pretty good. Oh, now he's just going to sleep on me. All right. What were we saying? Oh, yeah, serialization.
Serialization, yeah.
I'd really like to pass off the DM. Like, I want everyone in the room to DM once. I think that'd be fun. Hey, yeah, what's up? You hungry? You want some milk? Yeah? Okay. You gotta go get some milk.
I think, yeah, okay.
So he's walking well? Oh, yeah. He's been walking for months now. And
He started walking, yeah, I think he started walking like 6 months earlier than normal.
He started walking in... I think he started walking at like 8 months or so. Like actually walking. He'd been trying for a while, but actually walking around 6 to 8 months. And then some of my friends, their kids just turned 1 and they're still not walking. I'm like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? He's all over the place. He can run around, climb stuff. He's got it figured out.
Okay, so circle of spores. I probably don't want to just make this. Let's see, non-metal. So I should probably do wood. And I could definitely have mushrooms growing on him. I probably don't want to just do a big myconid mushroom head, right? What do you think, chat?
A fun way to do this kind of like I keep saying serialized, but that's not right. Like session based,
Episodic?
yeah. Is to basically have the DM play, like write a one shot, which should take 1 or 2 sessions, and either have the concurrent DM. So if it's in my world, I would sit down with that person and say, whatever you want to do, have it move forward and progress this, but at the end, it needs to end with X information being given or this item being obtained. Or like by the end of this, the party needs to be at this location, right? Like,
yep.
So they're writing the traveling to the next town, or hey, we're gonna go adventure in this desert and there's a cave there. Write the cave, whatever you want to do with the cave, and by the end they should either get out of the cave or the cave should lead them to this next spot, right? Like,
right.
I think that can be really fun, and it can also be downtime stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, I have this fun idea. I want the party to do X, Y, Z, and then so at the end of one of my campaigns, you would have them play an NPC that would give them that hook and be like, hey, I need your help with X, Y, Z. It's like, yeah, let's divert and let's do that, and then they get to run their campaign, right?
I think Corvus is done with my campaign, so I think I suggest we split it up between the two, and I don't know. We'll ask Corvus next time we see him, but I'm going to assume that because he's more comfortable playing in your setting, that he'd also want to GM something in your setting, but. We can
also, like, he's also run the. I guess we might be done with the skeletons at the end of this tomorrow.
Yeah,
but,
maybe.
Because Corvus has already written stuff for that, right?
Yeah.
Kid, you are not allowed to draw. Not right now. $10, and we let the kid draw. And I divert and I stop doing things.
Having me part bone with plant muscles, Black Prime said. I could do that. Well, kind of already drawn the exoskeleton of the lower force.
I just put ribs on him. Rip out his chest and give him ribs. Which you already kind of have ribcage going.
Yeah, I've got a little bit.
Or maybe on the arms you could just have the wrist bones be more sticking out.
I can do that.
Tree stump people.
I'm trying to be better at letting myself, like, this is going to be a weird thing to say considering how much I'm trying to be a painter, but I have a hard time letting myself paint over something once it's established.
That's something I used to love doing that I've stopped myself from doing. And that was when I first started. It was like, oh, the erasing is part of the process. So like erasing things is also art. And I've stopped doing that because it really makes things muddy.
Yeah,
so I very much
slows you down a lot. So if you're on a timeline.
Yeah. So what I've been trying to do is, like, instead of erasing, I just say, no, we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna redraw it this time with more negative space, right? Like, being more deliberate instead of reactionary, and that's something that I'm just working on right now. Yeah,
and I think that it's helped your pieces read more. We've talked about you doing that.
The legibility of my stuff has skyrocketed, I think, since I stopped doing that. But it also changed my style a little bit, so I kind of miss the messiness, but also I like it better this way. I miss the messy. Hey. Yeah. You pushing the spacebar doesn't help me out, kid. Yeah, you. I don't know what you're talking about. was thinking about an old post where someone drew an alternative arm replacement with crafting animal bones into lost limbs and getting the flesh to regrow over new bones. Like in real life, or like they had a cheetah arm then.
That's creepy.
What changed your style? Just trying to get better. I did.
Yeah. Style, artistic style changes no matter what you do. You can like try to be as static and repetitive as you think you possibly can be, and it will, like, your style will still change because you're always seeing new things, and the things that you see influence the way you draw.
Let me see if I can find a good example here.
The Minotaur that you drew with the
Please
the
don't
living
pour
sword
milk on me, kid.
for the living weapon video.
Yeah, that's.
I think that's a good example of your old style.
Here's an old one. I'll post this. This is like first year of YouTube. This is one of my first videos, I think. You can kind of see where like the line art and the color just get mushy and kind of too blended together. Same thing, like here's the line art from like the Bugbear video. I still like, it's still my style. You can still see my style, but like just how messy it is compared to like let me see if I can find a good example of the newer stuff. God, what is my newer stuff? It's been, I'm not I feel like I've not done a lot of art this year. Am I going down? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Drew. I
Physicist,
just took over the art for a second.
It's fine. I'm gonna answer Physicist's question because he said he understands that style changes, but was asking because thought we were talking about a specific practice, and it wasn't really a specific practice. Like I basically watched Rook be in stream be like, I really like all of the movement I get from being really sketchy, but at the same time when I finish a piece it feels really like mushy and I want it to read better, and so like I don't want to put any words in your mouth, Rook, but like it was interesting to watch you specifically be like, okay, so how do I get the cleaner line art that I want, and then go through the process of dissecting how you sketched things and coming up with a conclusion that it would, to get where you wanted to be, it would basically be better to thumbnail and then redraw a couple times until you get the lines exactly where you want them, and then instead of drawing on top of the old thing and painting the whole thing together, be a little bit more
clean,
planned and segmented.
Yeah, it's just more clean, more detail, so it gets there. It's different.
Yeah,
I can't turn it off now. There we go. Sorry.
Yeah, and that is both how style develops and how it changes. You look at your own stuff, you see stuff that you like and stuff that you don't like, and you figure out how to keep what you like and how to change what you don't.
Mm-hmm. I find that I might have to draw the same idea 5 or 6 times before I find the thread that makes me happy. Yeah. I mean, I guess you guys probably don't see a lot of that in the videos I make, but you might see in some of the older ones. It usually takes me 3 or 4 times in a sketch before I'm happy, and then I now will draw the sketch I like 3 or 4 times before I'm like really happy with it.
Yeah. Most artists iterate a ton before they get to a final piece. And even like the painters that you see who will just sit down and crank something out, like nobody gets to the point where they're producing something that way, like where they're consistently producing something they like, unless they literally paint over what they have drawn like 4 or 5 times, refining it with each pass.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite
iteration is just part of the process.
I don't know where it is. I don't know if I can find it again, but I remember seeing a picture of Frank Frazetta's easel.
Yep.
And he's redrawn the thing he's trying to draw like 5 or 6 times, and it's just covered in reference.
Yeah.
And he has all his sketches and stuff.
He's got like 40 different reference photos from 7 different angles, taped up all over the place. Yeah. It's art is a process, and especially in the stream, I think it's hard because we don't really show the process. We just kind of sit down and draw stuff, and then at the end we say, this was okay," or "Yeah, I could probably do better than this."
Yeah, and with the live stream, like it's a lot of we don't really get past the sketchy stage, right?
Yeah.
We don't have time.
Well, I do occasionally, but
yeah, sometimes I'll do one piece. Like that's fair.
Yeah, it's not consistent. I literally have to spend the entire stream on it, and it's still never finished.
Which I do like to do for the Patreon streams. Like I'll try to just because I only have 2 or 3 things to draw. I'll spend a lot more time on those.
Yeah,
those are fun. The Mogwai is good. I'm really happy with all my art for the most part. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 things that I'm just like, ooh, I'm not happy with that one. I wish I could go back and redo that one. But for the most part, especially my commission work, I'm pretty happy with a lot of it. But like, there's just as I've gone over the years, it's just like I've found ways to make things cleaner and cleaner, and I've become more happy with a lot of those lines.
Yeah, honestly, like the live streams really are more of a critique thing than an art thing. Like we sit here and draw, but you and I offer a lot of criticism, both for tabletop games, for storytelling, for pretty much any form of media, and for our own art and artwork, and for some other artists as well occasionally.
What are you doing, kid?
And that's like
you are not allowed to put the dice in your mouth.
Learning how to give criticism and how to take criticism is like the most important thing of being an artist.
Hard to do.
It's very hard to do.
Takes me to see the skull and the belt and the other ones. Yeah, and it really is just. Oh my. The difference between a lot of art, like good art and bad art, I would say, is how much time you put into it.
Yeah.
It's like. I think it really is like, and that's one of the reasons my commissions are priced the way they are. I usually spend about 15 hours on them. Whereas a lot of people who charge $300 or $400 per commission, they're going to spend 40 to 60 hours on it. And it's just like, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do that. I've done that a few times, and it's wow, kid. I've lost control of the stream. Yeah,
yep.
We're off the rails, kid. You want to draw? Nobody paid us, so you can't draw. Nope. Okay. I'm glad he's feeling better.
Yeah.
All right, cherry blossom. Cherry blossom robe. Found a Tumblr post that's a change in my own personal process.
Nice.
Yeah, one of my friends, I was talking to him about his portfolio because he only had like 3 or 4 pieces in his portfolio, and they were really good. And I was like, how long did this one take to do? And he's like, 6 months. And I was like, bleh.
Yep. I stumbled across a YouTube channel called Oddity. I don't know if anybody AUIDIT. I don't know if anybody has seen her work, but like she's super cheerful. Also, she has like the cutest like golden retriever jelly bean of a husband. They're such a funny couple, and she just like the videos of the art she does are like so joyful that it makes me really want to. It makes me want to explain or like explore having more fun with my art, because I have like my art has been work almost exclusively for a really long time, and I don't really have a lot of fun with it anymore.
Yeah, Black Prime. No, he already knows how to open doors. It's a problem. Boom, 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 boom. There's when I was working on the video game, I very much wanted like all the characters I was drawing are like really edgy and kind of dark, and it's like nobody wants this. Nobody wants this.
Yeah.
I need to have fun when I'm making these characters. They need to be cute and stupid and enjoyable, and like it's hard to do that sometimes. It's hard to push yourself in those directions.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
It is weird, and it's funny because like when I was in college, it was the same thing, and all of my instructors were like, "You need to draw cutesy dumb shit because you're good at it." And I'm like, I don't like drawing cutesy dumb shit. And they're like, you just gotta do it. And I was like, I don't want to. And now I'm drawing a rugby every day. You know?
Yep.
So it's like it is what it is. It is what it is. And like a lot of the most popular stuff I have is like my cutesy dumb fan art of like Final Fantasy stuff and things like that. Like people love that. So
yeah, for good reason.
for good reason. And then I do things like people have commissioned me for like the axolotl and the little lizard things, and like it's definitely a style I can do, and I don't think about it. I don't think about doing it. But it is something I can do.
I think my favorite of the geek things you did was our the otter.
Otter folks, yeah.
Not
Magma
the otter
otters.
folks specifically, the specific otter character that we drew for the like in stream D&D.
Oh,
what's
Finbar.
his name? The warlock.
Finbar the otter folk.
Yeah,
Otter warlock.
he was cute and funny, and that was a lot of fun. I know I need to take myself less seriously because I take myself so seriously that it sucks all the fun out of everything, and then I paralyze myself, and it sucks.
Why drawing everything that doesn't make you happy? Why draw anything that doesn't make you happy? Because it doesn't make me unhappy. It doesn't make me unhappy to draw those things. It's just like, what's a better way to describe it?
I enjoy. Well, yeah.
I'm a
It is
goth.
cool. Yeah.
I'm a goth emo kid that is really good at drawing My Little Pony fan art. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It is cool and satisfying to challenge yourself.
I have this vision in my head that I'm this stoic, dark, just very deep philosophical character, and then Jump Rope's like, no, you're really funny, and I'm like, no, I'm not. She's like, yeah, no, you're funny. And it's like, God damn it. Right? Like that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm just a high-minded, pretentious asshole.
There we go. There's a Finbar. This shit does make me happy, and it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And I make myself laugh all the time when I see the stuff I draw. And then, but when I think about like, oh, what do you draw? It's like, oh, I draw really dark shit. It's like, no, you don't. You draw stupid otters. And that's fine. That is totally fine. I want to be Tim Burton, and I'm not. I end up being Fozzie Bear. That's the real end of it. I see myself as Tim Burton, and I end up being Jim Henson a lot more of the time, which is also fun.
Jim Henson produced some creepy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Love the Dark Crystal.
Where is it? I drew something for when I was on Twitch a lot. Somebody asked me to draw an icon for them because they knew I could do it. I'm like, I don't want to do that, and then I did it. I'm like, that's really funny. Let me see if I can find it.
I think I'd better do red mushrooms so that these actually show on the background.
What's up, kid? Oh, you want me to read a book? Okay. I'm being distracted by the boy now, so the stream might be over. We'll find out. Yeah? Beep, beep, beep. See the truck and the kitty cat?
I really want to be Frank Frazetta, but I think I might be better off trying to be Bob Ross.
Oh, he's got more books for me. A tombstone says I'm not Tim Burton. I still like the bear box icon. Yeah, like it's funny. Like those things are great. Like I like making those, but it's just not. I wouldn't sit down on my days off and be like, I'm gonna make a cute little thing. It's like, no, I want to draw something creepy and edgy. Nobody else likes it. They just want the cute stuff. What's wrong with Bob Ross? Yeah, nothing wrong with Bob Ross.
Nothing. Oh, absolutely nothing's wrong with Bob Ross. He's just
Sound like a cat.
his art style is not one that I ever wanted to emulate.
Yeah.
But like I kind of,
don't have a tail. I have a tail.
especially if I draw backgrounds, I kind of fall into a lot of those tropes.
Yeah. The baby. See the kitty cat?
And that's totally fine. It's actually really important, I think, to acknowledge where you're at in order to get to where you're going.
Zoom. Zoom, 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 zoom. Yeah. Look at all those kitty cats. You play pranks? I apologize. Yeah. It's the baby hugging the kitty cat. Yeah. Baby. And the kitty cat. Brown, green, brown, green. The baby. You are not a cat. Bunny. Kitty cat. Horsey. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Green. Mm-hmm. Green. Yeah. Okay. You can't have the dice. Goddamn. Take the book. I wonder if there's any other weird, silly shit that I've made that I haven't. I really like the magma otters. Those are cute. Those are cute and fun.
Those were super cute.
Those I just sat down and made. Dun dun dun.
The best part about doing like cute animals is like it feels okay for them to be cute, right? Like otters are cute by default, but
Yeah.
they're still metal as fuck.
Dun, dun, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. So
I feel like if we did one of those meme things, it would be like how I see myself, and then it would be like how other people see me.
Yep, how I actually am.
How I actually am. Just- What are you doing, kid? You're gonna hurt yourself. Yeah, you stuck now? Alright. Well, I think that's all we have time for today.
Okay.
I like your edgy art. Yeah, me too. I like all of my art. Like, I'm usually pretty happy with it.
The
I
thing
found
is-
it. I found it. This was the thing I made that they said only I could make. Which is... I think this
Hey,
is pretty...
stop pissing your rainbow on me. Also, happy Pride.
Yeah. Happy Pride, everybody. It is what it is. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. Thanks for all the good suggestions this week. I'll put up another post on Monday. We can do more next week. We have a lot of fun with that. I'm going to keep working on the video game stuff. I'm probably going to take the kid for a walk, and then we might come back and either work on some stuff in Discord or work on the game. I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close to making the next character, so I still see a lot of Yonan Vasquez. Yeah, Yonan Vasquez is one of my favorite authors. Like, he was very influential in me in high school. Yonan Vasquez and Benjamin Templesmith, both really good. Like, just weird, creepy, easy, like, sketchy stuff, and I love it. Cute plus Tim Burton equals Invader Zim. Yeah, Invader Zim is huge. Like, Rugby is basically just Gur, but a bugbear. Bugbear Gur. Yeah, like, I think, actually, now that I'm thinking about it and I'm looking at all my shit, like, this is probably, I think I've sold the most stickers of this little owl. This little owl bear. It's great. So, one way or the other. Yeah, we'll keep doing art. Keep having fun with it. There's no problem with, like, if you're not drawing what you love to draw all the time, that's fine, because, like, commercial stuff and doing art for other people is not always going to be the thing you love. Draw what you love on your own time, and I do that.
Yeah.
So, like,
there's also a difference between, like, producing something that you love but was really hard to produce, and doing something just fun and stupid for the joy of drawing.
Right. Yeah. And what I've discovered is, like, if there's something that I actually don't want to draw, I won't do it. I'll just tell people, like, no, that's not what I want to draw, right? So, like, when I say I don't love it, that doesn't mean I don't want to draw it. It just means that it's not, like, not my favorite preferred thing to draw, you know?
Yeah.
So,
or maybe just not in the mood right now.
Yeah. But most of the time, I love doing this, and you guys allow me to do that. So thank you very much for that. Druid, thanks for hanging out today.
Yeah.
Hanging out with me, giving me some breathing room.
Yep.
And
I enjoyed the discussion.
Thanks for hanging out today, everybody. Stay happy, stay healthy, keep your ass on the table, and we'll catch everybody next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.